Hello again. Priti Patel is constantly assuring us how tough she means to be on immigration. It's almost her hallmark since she became Home Secretary. How she's going to crack down on immigration and she'll do this and new laws and all the rest of it. And yet, a week ago, 600 illegal immigrants landed in Kent on one day. There's no sign that these numbers will be going down anytime soon. It's hard for most of us to visualise what 600 people look like, but fortunately a news photograph from Afghanistan provides us with a handy image. The thumbnail to this video shows an American aeroplane leaving Kabul with 600 Afghans. This is what the number of people who fetched up on English beaches over the course of 24 hours last week actually looks like. This is nothing though, because the Home Secretary has now promised that she will be allowing at least 20,000 such Afghan refugees to come and live permanently in Britain. So just look at that photograph of the crowded plane again and imagine 33 flights like that, loaded with refugees and all landing in Britain. Here's a very simple question. Where do we expect the people, that is to say 33 times as many as in the photograph, to live? What about medical care? School places? The answer is very simple, and I'm sure that viewers have already guessed. Thousands of new houses will need to be built simply to house all these tens of thousands of people. It's hard enough already to find a dentist or get an appointment with the doctor, a place at the school you want for your child and so on. Does anybody think that this will make things easier or harder in that respect? I invite viewers to stop for a moment and work out the logistics of the thing. Looking at that picture shows us the kind of numbers who are already crossing the English Channel every single day. Add to them the plane loads of Afghans actually being invited into the country, and also the thousands of Chinese people coming here from Hong Kong, and it's not hard to see that a massive programme of house building, the one that is now being undertaken, along with the relaxation of planning permission, concreting over the green belt and so on, is all being done so that we can accommodate an endless flow of foreigners into the country. This is simply a fact. The growth in population, the population of Britain, was for thousands of years driven by natural increase, that is to say the number of babies born being slightly higher than the number of people who die. Now it is driven inexorably by immigration, most of it from outside Europe. The Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, says that the government want to show that Britain is a big-hearted nation and will welcome hordes of Afghans. But I'm not at all sure what business he has speaking on my behalf in that way. Big-hearted I may be, but I'm not a mug. I can see very well that England is now under enormous strain through the policy of allowing any foreigner to turn up here and have a house often built on what was once green fields or woodland. If being big-hearted means that I must sit back and watch the country being filled up with foreigners, then perhaps I'm not quite as big-hearted as Dominic Raab imagines. Priti Patel is also calling upon European countries to take refugees from Afghanistan. While doing so, she also boasts of having let in 25,000 people in the last few years from various war zones, as well as 29,000 from Hong Kong. Greece is getting a bit jittery about all this, as they fear another flood of asylum seekers heading for Europe. I'm sure we can all remember 2015, the columns of chiefly young men trekking through the Balkans heading towards Europe. I think that we might be heading for a similar situation now. Priti Patel isn't exactly helping matters by talking in this way and calling upon Europe to do their bit. It's going to make all the Afghan refugees in Pakistan and so on think that Europe will actually welcome them. I'm bound to say that if this is how a Home Secretary who is tough on immigration behaves, thank goodness we don't have one who's soft on the subject.